please give this video a like and subscribe!
Wait, where's the thing? Okay, hello. Oh, wait, am I muted? Yeah, hello everybody and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison and this is Maintaining Frame. Manosphere lied about Feminists Most Affected, where we're going to be looking at the next best thing. Well, I don't know if it's the next best thing or the real thing that sort of comes out of Louis Theroux's Inside the Manosphere documentary.
Is it really Louis
Theroux?
Theroux?
Louis Theroux. It could be Thoreau. I don't know.
Theroux. I still like Theroux.
Theroux or Thoreau.
Theroux.
Somebody DM'd me and was like, I think it's pronounced this way. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I mean, it's just like the last thing that's on my mind is getting the name of this muckraker's pronounced correctly. It just, don't. I mean, look, I want to try to be like, I don't know, thorough or Theroux with people.
Theroux.
Theroux and getting their names right, but yeah, I mean, like, not enough to like lose sleep over it.
Well, let's face it, he's obviously part of the Norman invasion of the UK, so
yeah,
he really owes the Anglo-Saxons reparations. Let's come on. Okay, not this crap.
Anyway, so after that documentary was released, a lot of people had takes on them, and of course, it's been
takes.
Yeah, they have takes. Yes, they have takes. They have opinions, and of course, those are. I mean, like, this is kind of the way it goes, right? So Louis Theroux or whoever it is makes a documentary about the Manosphere, men's rights activists, the red pill, people pushing back on feminism, or whatever the sort of establishment status quo ideology of, that is approved by the powers that be. And what they do is they have someone do a documentary on it, and that person usually, edits and lies and takes them out of context and is about as let's say, uncharitable as possible. And then that gets out into the mainstream and everyone else uses it as truth. And then they just react to it. And so now we're at stage 2 of the Inside the Manosphere documentary being released, which is all of the people online, the influencers, the TikTokers, the YouTubers, the bloggers, the journalists, the activists, the psychologists, the professors, the politicians, and they all have a take. And of course, like, almost all of it doesn't side with the subjects of the documentary. And I think that's, part ignorance on the part of the people that do it, but mostly it's malice because they were looking for a way to discredit not just like the Manosphere in terms of like who is actually featured in the film, but more importantly, the Manosphere as a whole, which is essentially the dissident part of the internet that takes issue with things as they are, So, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right. Yeah, so I have a few things to tell you guys. First of all, unfortunately, Void Cat Mia has had a relapse of her anemia. She was severely anemic last year. She seemed to be doing very well for the past year, and then in the last month, she's apparently gotten a lot worse, and it's worse this time around than it was last time. She's on steroids because apparently what we think is happening is her immune system is attacking her red blood cells and all of the cells, basically the constituents of the bloodstream. So she's quite weak right now. We have her on steroids in the hopes that will control her immune system and help her rebound, her red blood cell count rebound. And I'm trying to do what I can to keep her fed, including like hand feeding her, and it's sort of touch and go at this point. So hopefully I don't have worse news to tell you, but might as well brace for it because she's quite frail right now.
Is she still eating?
Yeah, she's still eating a little bit. Like she's eating her favorite treats, and I'm giving her broth and such. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not looking great right now. I'll tell you, but we'll see. I'll do what I can. Like we'll feed her, we'll keep her hydrated, give her medicine, and all of that. And again, I'll keep you guys posted. I'm very sorry for this bad news. Okay, and with that, I should probably get the other things that I need to do to get done, which is if you would like to send us a message at any point throughout the show, the very best way to do that is at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And if you would like to support the show, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/support. And if you'd like to join our Discord, you can do so at badgernation.online. And love to see you there. And that's the I'll be putting up more notifications on the Discord as I have more information, or well, as things develop or don't. All right, so let's perfect day to watch. Are we watching Byron E. Claire again? Of course.
Yeah. So here we have Byron E. Claire. She's made a video. She has a take.
Yay.
And the video is called "I Love My Husband Who Hates Me," and essentially, it's not.
Is this the Manosphere video?
Yes, but the way that Byron E. Claire works, from what I can tell, is that every topic is an opportunity for her to go after multiple targets at once. So she will go after the patriarchy, and she'll go after what she would describe as bad men, and then all men, and then heteronormativity, and then capitalism, and then Elon Musk and Trump and Republicans, even though she's not American, but for some reason she goes after Republicans. Basically, like it's all about like how many different individuals and systems can I use the topic to essentially attack by throwing them all under the same umbrella at the same time. And Theroux was doing that in his documentary too. Like I didn't mention this, but there was B-roll of when he was saying, the spiritual hub of the Manosphere, and there was a shot of a Cybertruck, which not an accident. These people do this stuff on purpose, and it's all about like it doesn't matter if there's evidence of any of that. It's all about creating the correlation so that you are manipulated by it. And I think that his film was aimed at women, mainly because the way that he was shooting it, it was like he was being a woman, sizing up the worth of the men he was interviewing, which is why he would call into question their masculinity instead of like talking about issues and stuff. He was treating it like how he thought a woman would treat it if a woman watched it. And that was by design.
Masculinity and morality, and his service to masculinity, as quote unquote ethics, and their alleged service to feminism, really, not really women.
Right.
Because if he cared about the women, he wouldn't have hoovered around them, and wouldn't have tried to poke holes in however they'd arranged their lives up to that point.
Yeah, but feminists do that to women too.
Oh, of course they do.
Yeah.
That's their favorite sport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
right, so anyway, so this is Byron E. Claire's video, and I'm sort of like setting it up. The video is actually about, I guess, like, women who love their husbands despite the fact that their husbands clearly hate them or don't respect them or some other such nonsense. And so the Manosphere comes into it as one of the sections. So
how does she know that their husbands don't love them?
Because she watched Louis Theroux's documentary and now she gets to reference it.
Oh, that's what she's talking about. Oh, I see.
Yes. She watched the documentary. It confirmed all of her biases. It made her look like a prophet, and now she's going to share it with the masses. That's the point.
Of course.
That's the point.
That's the point of it all, isn't it? All right.
Well, yeah, like imagine, so women really like to watch mysteries, like murder mysteries, right? And one of the things that makes murder mysteries fun is you get to try to predict who done it. Like you get to pretend to be detective while the story unfolds, or at least that's what I imagine. And women like to do that. They also like to like analyze when they watch films and stories. They like to look at the social dynamics going on. That's why women love soap operas. They like to see social dynamics at play. They like to see drama intensify, even if it is unrealistic, because it's fun to do that in the same way that men like to watch action movies, even though sometimes the action is unrealistic. And part of what I think they get out of that is they get to feel like they are like, I don't know, like they have some kind of sense, like a higher, like a sixth sense for social dynamics or understanding people. And the Manosphere documentary was made in that style so that women could watch it and say, oh, I knew, Myron Gaines was a piece of shit and he was actually really insecure. I could tell because the film it paints that picture, and then the women take that away from it. And they're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I thought. That's what I mean when I say it's like made with women's in mind, especially women that are on the lookout for bad men, because I think women are always scanning like for the quality of people. And so if a man has like they get like a gut feeling about a guy, and then the documentary confirms their bias, then they're gonna like, double down on that emotion. And then you're gonna get the people like Brian and Claire that will make content about it, and then they turn it into something academic, and then they break it down like, here's why these men are all garbage, and here is why we can extrapolate from this specimen, and we can look at like why all men are like in some way in this same environment, and it's because of patriarchy and capitalism and white supremacy and blah 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 blah. So that's what I think. But anyway, so let's get into Bryony Claire's connecting the idea that there exists these women who are handmaidens of the patriarchy that unknowingly are slaves to their men who actually don't even care about them.
Have the ones that are fighting to keep child marriage as a thing in the US, they're
Hold on a second. I think I'm got double sound here. All right.
Always Republicans. And did you know that in Texas,
so like she's saying like this is again, she's just turning it into a political thing.
You cannot
it's
get
also
divorced
echoing still. It's still
is
echoing. It? Yeah.
You're pregnant.
Wonder why.
As I have brought up on my channel for a very long time at this point,
really
the Manosphere has
What was that?
It's only a very mild echo. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
thanks to right-leaning places and Christian nationalists, making it a lot.
Okay, madam, right-leaning politics have existed for a very long time. They didn't require. What do you think? The Manosphere was the gateway for the Republicans into American politics? What is this nonsense? Okay, continue.
Yeah, okay.
5 years ago, which was absolutely shocking. They're being said on main.
How the Manosphere is making misogyny mainstream. I'm just pointing out like what the headline she's using as her resource. Okay, these are her resources. Now, of course, again, there's obviously a method to her madness.
Platforms now by politicians. We are in incredibly scary times, and funding for women.
A catch-22 for survivors of domestic violence. Trump admin simultaneously slashes housing and VAWA funds. So housing, I don't know what that is. That's probably fraud, I'm guessing. And VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, that was bullshit to begin with. And Hannah could go on and on about it. So I'll just say that like it is a special kind of extra government funded services that are not necessary because women are not at risk. In fact, if anything, because they still have the Duluth model, men are still more at risk. So, but she's just gonna again, this is all emotional stuff that she's doing.
Well, I mean, even if you just want to look at women, feminists prioritize feminist conjecture and the political utility of feminist conjecture over actually protecting women. So whenever they talk about feminists like Byron E. Clare talk about domestic violence, they're actually stealing valor in order to advance their own ideological positions, and they don't give a crap about women who are dealing with domestic violence. Well, they don't give a crap about men, but that's obvious. They also don't give a crap about women. If they did, they wouldn't put feminist conjecture over interventions that actually reduce the rate at which women experience domestic violence. But yes, Byron, tell us all about what you advocate for.
Yeah.
Shelters keeps on getting slashed. In Louis Theroux's new Netflix documentary Into the Manosphere, we see glimpses of women who are in relationships with these men who say stuff like this.
You married?
No.
Are you saying you're not in a monogamous relationship?
One-sided monogamy.
Okay, so apparently this was taken out of context as well, and his wife is, or not wife, sorry, his baby mama is bisexual. So not even sure who's the one driving this.
Well, that's why he would say, I'd show them a picture of my wife and how attractive she is, and then he'd bring a girl home. So that's probably that explains that more. But Louis Theroux's not. See, the thing is, he's gonna,
But that's
he's
also
gonna erase the bias.
Yeah, of course, that's what you do. But this is also not really one-sided monogamy. He might be framing that for his audience, but if this is something he does with his wife, and his wife is having sex with people who are not him, how is it one-sided monogamy? Explain that?
Yeah.
Like if she's engaging in sexual behavior with other women, and he is also, that's not one-sided monogamy, that's swinging just with women. Like it's, so even the nomenclature doesn't seem to be accurate. And then we have to listen to Byron E. Clare add her own bullshit onto what is already incorrectly characterized.
Exactly. It's like I said, orders of magnitude lies. Like Louis Theroux tells the first lie, and maybe it's a small lie, and then Byron E. Clare and other feminist activists take that and they expand on the lie and they make it into a much bigger lie. And it's harder to debunk because you have to go several steps back. So if somebody catches her in a lie, for example, then you just hold on to the other lie, the lie that preceded it. And people they'd have to do that extra work to figure out that that's also a lie. So it's, that's what I mean. It's like when feminists make claims and they use feminist data, they are taking lies to make lies that, that are exponentially growing. And it's harder to unpack them all because you'd have to you don't even know where like the BS begins. So maybe you just tackle the one and you just like accept everything else, right? So
well, and then there's also the fact that this is not traditional.
No, it's not.
Okay. This is absolutely 100% not traditional. There's no traditional society where you have threesomes with another woman and your wife. All right, that's not. This is actually a liberal post-sexual revolution arrangement that could only have occurred because of feminism. Openly. There's only the only way that this wasn't this he's declaring this openly is because he is not a traditionalist. Realistically, he is a downstream effect of sexual quote unquote liberation. And so he is a sexual libertine. And that is not traditional. Right? No society would have accepted this prior to the 1960s. Certainly not openly. He'd probably get Okay. Lord Byron had some pretty sketchy things that he did, and he was removed from polite society. Like you couldn't declare stuff like this as a man in public and expect to continue to be received in polite society. Right? This was not acceptable behavior. So once again, we're looking at a man who is downstream of feminism. This guy wouldn't exist if feminism hadn't existed. And now we have a feminist complaining about it. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's astounding.
Well,
Yep.
what if you don't want libertines, don't throw your feminism all over the floor. That's how you get ants. All right? There you go.
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
Women don't want to sleep with other men when they love a man.
Did you also catch this moment?
One-sided monogamy means what?
It means like the mother of my children, the woman that I'm with, she doesn't talk to other men.
He doesn't let her talk to other men. Isolation. His other girlfriends, by the way.
Well,
So notice she frames it as isolation. Like this guy's baby mama is trapped and can't like go out and do things with other people. Not that she chose it, not that she didn't say in the documentary that she was okay with this arrangement. By the way, this polygyny, which is what it kind of is, assuming it's true, because these guys are salesmen, they could be exaggerating or just outright lying about their conquests. But let's assume it's true for the sake of argument. This polygyny situation is another thing that feminism created. So it's, you can't blame traditionalism or Christianity or any of the other made up shit that you want to blame, because that's literally not what it is. So
when you have a situation where you have undercut the sexual marketplace value of what is it, 80% of men now? It's not even the average man. It's 2 standard deviations better looking than average or more attractive than average men is now fucked. Well, when you do that, when you undercut the sexual marketplace value of that many men, the remaining men who are being hunted by a couple dozen women each can set the terms. And this dude set his terms. And she decided, okay, those are the terms I'll live by. Interestingly enough, she seems to I guess she leveraged her bisexuality as a sales point. But again, this wouldn't happen. This man would not exist. He would not be public about his sexual appetites if he's the driver of this. Who knows? Maybe she is. Right? He wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the sexual quote unquote revolution and also feminism undermining most men so this guy can have multiple women. Right? Again, another symptom of feminism. And he gets to set the terms because that's how it works. That's how it works. If most women are going after the top 20%, top 10%, whatever it is now, right? Like I just walked past a couple women in my town of 1,200 people less, and they were talking about culling the weak from the herd as they, I guess, scrolled through some stupid dating app. I'm like, listening to this, I'm like, okay, this is the downstream effect of culling the weak from the herd and only going after the top men. Well, you got a lot of competition and they can set the terms. That is not patriarchy. And I guess it's the manosphere. Like, is that the manosphere? Like, is that like all these guys standing or giving money to men?
No, I think the manosphere is just men responding to that market reality. Like they're like, okay, so this is what women are doing. They're basically culling the weak. Well, I don't want to be culled, so I'm going to basically make myself as appealing as possible. And I think it does create cynicism in those men too, because then they basically make it. The men don't do this. The women make it transactional in a way, because they're just looking at it. It's like going to the grocery store and you're just trying to get the best deal on, your vegetables. And that's the only thing that matters. You're not concerned with like, you know, what I don't know, which one's gonna stay good longer, what's gonna pair better with whatever you plan on eating or whatever. You're just looking at the best deal, you know, and then men just see it. It's like, okay, these women are just looking for the best deal. So I'm gonna like just do that. And all the other stuff, I can see how they're cynical, maybe even a little bit bitter, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, who wouldn't be? Like, if being the best deal means that you have to be 3 inches taller than average, right? How's that going to happen for anyone? It is just, and what the reason why this is the case is because feminism has taught women that their primary social value is in rejecting men, and that in a relationship with a man, they're being taken advantage of, they're being oppressed. The man gets the good deal, they get nothing. So the feminism has told that women to this, so that the only men who can rise above women's belief that their social value increases with rejection are men who have so much ridiculous amounts of social proof. Literally, they've constructed a situation where the only men who are attractive are men who already have multiple, like dozens of women orbiting them. Which means that even if all of the men in the manosphere who are watching these guys talk about their lifestyle, if they all rose up and had this, they were just the goods, like they represented the same quality of goods as these men, they would still be screwed. So you guys are in the manosphere, you are all chasing something that doesn't exist and can't possibly exist. Because as soon as you get to that level, it is a moving target that has moved to the next level, because it's always whatever men who can get multiple women. So if every man is as good as this dude, what's his name? James? The redhead, the soulless one.
Yeah, why am I forgetting his name?
Okay, redhead. The redhead.
I have a note. Yeah.
Let's say everyone in his audience, every man in his audience.
Justin Waller was just suddenly at Justin Waller's level.
Wouldn't matter.
Nope.
You wouldn't get a woman, because the women, the only ones of you multiple Justin Wallers, would be the next top 5% of Justin Wallers who can get the best women or the most women. So it's always this moving target until we get rid of this nonsense about how women gain social value through rejecting men, how women lose social value by being in a relationship with a man, how women are being cheated out of something by being in a relationship with a man, how relationships with men are the source of women's oppression. Therefore, there's always a negative that men, like a debt in a relationship, that a man can never give enough to actually overcome. There's all that debt. Just going into the relationship, a man is in debt to his woman. And he has to bring so much to even overcome that debt. Have you noticed that this is the attitude that a lot of women have, at least the ones who talk about it on the internet? That men come into a relationship with debt, and the only men who can pay off that debt are the very tippy top. And they can only pay off that debt because they have other women who want them. And it's the other women's social proof that actually neutralizes the debt that the man makes, the man creates by wanting to be in a relationship with a woman. And you cannot fix this by constantly jumping through hoops and trying to get up over the bar wherever it is now. Right? You can't fix this that way. Like I said, and then this is my big criticism of the manosphere. It's dysfunctional. I mean, yes, you can
the
get
manosphere
yourself...
being the guys that are featured in this documentary, those guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. If it was a situation where their audience actually increased, first of all, what level did your audience have to actually increase to be up at the Justin Walker? Is that his name?
Justin Waller.
What level? I mean, is it even possible for his audience to be at
For
the
most
Justin
men, it is
Waller level.
not. No.
In most men, because he's tall, right?
Well, I don't know. I assume so, but like ultimately,
He's taller than Theroux, anyway.
ultimately these Manosphere guys that are being featured here, they're
Yeah.
only there because they're trying to fill a market. There's a market for men looking to maximize their ability to attract a woman. These
Yeah,
guys
fair
are
enough.
selling themselves as red pill, but they're clearly not, because their whole brain is built on attracting women. It's a blue pilled belief system from the ground up. But they know, I think these guys are using the loneliness and the frustration that the majority of men are experiencing with, trying to find a wife that they could start a family with, it's nothing controversial about that. That's why I get
No.
annoyed with it even being called a conservative position. It's like, no, it's a normal position. It's like how we perpetuate the species. It's normal, but it's at the point now where it's so difficult and so frustrating for men to attain that these quote unquote red pill manosphere guys can come and sell them this promise that if they just follow their instructions, go, join their group, go to the Telegram, buy the classes, whatever it is, that they'll be able to figure it out. Now, yeah, I think these guys are exploiting these men, because those men, that's not going to help them. Because as you said, if any of them can even become anything like a Justin Waller, they're still going to probably get passed up, because women will simply adapt their ridiculous standards to match the new layout, the new landscape, and they'll be like, well, now I want 5% of these guys, because that's how they see the world. It's like, how well, I can do better than this. And that's not, and the majority of these guys are just not going to be able to do it. Like the overwhelming majority. This is something that I have said, we've said on this channel, and yeah, Andrew Wilson has said it too. He says, well, my problem with them is that their prescription is not going to help them, because it's not really the problem. The men are not doing anything wrong. No. Ultimately, they're not, right.
Okay, so the reason why it doesn't fill the debt, like the debt that a man, right now, women think that a man gets in a relationship with him, he comes with a whole bunch of debt, and that debt is what? Patriarchy, oppression, male privilege, emotional labor, the much bullshittery of the wage, or the wage gap and the chore gap. Right? The household labor gap, all of this entire narrative, that baggage a man brings into a relationship, according to feminism and the women who believe in this crap, right? So they bring in this gigantic debt. Well, how does a man neutralize that debt? That social debt.
He has to neutralize her debt too, because she shows up with debt.
Yeah, well, that's functional.
That's like his debt to her, which she's imagined, and then her actual debt.
Yeah, I know. But how does he neutralize that social debt? The only way is social credit. Like that, not social credit. Like what is that term? You're pre-approved basically by other women. He has to come into the relationship pre-approved by multiple women before she'll consider it. Because that's the only way he can neutralize his debt. Like if Justin Waller decided, hey, I don't want to have an open marriage anymore, would his marriage survive that? Right? If he can't demonstrate that he can pull women, or he wants to stop, and he's like, no, I'm not interested in this anymore. And incidentally, I can get into a bit of the vasopressin research. That's the male bonding hormone, just as an analysis, but I'll just if you guys want me to.
We have a lot of video to get through, and then I have a couple of other videos I want to show off really quick too.
If he did close off his marriage, right, would it survive, or his relationship, would it survive? If he told her tomorrow, I'm not going to demonstrate my social value to other women to you anymore. I don't feel like being your monkey. You're just going to have to value me for me. What would she say? What would she do? Would she stay? Right? What about when he gets old? Like, what about when he's in his 60s and he can't pull women anymore? Is she going to stay? Right, here's the question. Because that looks like to me that he has to continuously demonstrate his value to other women for her to continue to value him. Now, that is a possibility. She may just be a bisexual sleut. Who knows? Right? That may be her kink and she just doesn't want to let it go in a monogamous relationship. And she doesn't care about freaking STDs and her children. But that's there could be that too, but this is a possible interpretation. She wants him to continue to demonstrate that he has surplus social value. And the way that he does that is by continuing to demonstrate that he's desirable to other women.
Well, she literally says, no, it's true. She says it in the documentary. The reason why she likes him is because he is desirable. Basically, she likes that he makes women jealous of her. That's what she basically says in so many words in the documentary. So she's not benefiting. Now, Bryony here, just to bring it back to this, is claiming that she's a prisoner. She's literally like a prisoner of this guy, even though she says in the documentary, I like that other women want the man that is mine, that has my children. Like there's something that she gets out of it. So it is completely selfish. And yeah, when his sexual value, like if it deteriorates or if something happens, then she might look at him. Or if some younger guy that's got more money shows up, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I think that she's going to become less desirable over time though. Not just because she's passed a few kids through there, but because she's also getting older. And I think that like, she's kind of like, it doesn't mean that she's not going to be tempted, but I don't think that the opportunity is going to be there as much. But I do think that she's not going to see him the same way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that happens to everyone, right?
Yeah.
So, but in terms of and this is the reason why I bring this up is because there's this moment where they were talking about all this, and Theroux was talking to his woman, even though apparently he doesn't let his woman talk to men. I guess.
Well, he said he originally wouldn't do that, but Theroux basically got him to let him see her.
Yeah, why would you do anyway? I went over that last time, but there's this moment where she's talking about this situation, and he doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't look very happy. He doesn't look like a happy dude. And I'm like thinking about this, and it's like, is this really what you want? To be constantly proving yourself to your wife by pulling women? Like, and honestly, if you look at like the vasopressin research, if it is a conservative, like if the endocrinology is conservative, which it generally is, that's not necessarily a very happy place for a male pair bonding animal, because they tend to actually start to get aggressive towards strange females. Like it's an effect of vasopressin, but I don't know. Like maybe she's fine with it. She's fine with it. Hopefully their kids don't get anything disgusting.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
His name tattooed on them.
That are like die hard tattooing my name on them.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do what?
Tattoo your name on them.
They've been branded as his. Not that he'd ever say
Who
that,
did?
I mean,
So the women got tattoos of Justin Waller's name on them, according to Justin Waller. And that, according to Theroux, the way that it's framed, it's already bad enough that these women are so enthralled that they got tattoos of this guy's name on them, even though I don't think Justin is saying that you should do that. They're just choosing to do that assuming all of this is true. So women are choosing to get a man's name tattooed on them, which should speak to their character, but whatever. Theroux's not gonna go there because he's got to frame.
How do you explain that? Like seriously though, you're dating, right? You're a woman, and you, I guess, want to have a sexual relationship with a man who's not Justin Waller, and you got his freaking tattoo on your body. How do you? What's the conversation that happens?
I think that you would be surprised at the depths that some people will go to. And maybe these women have lots of tattoos, and like maybe they have multiple men's names on them. We don't know. Like we don't know like how, trashy they are, how low their standards might be. I mean, I'm not saying that they are low or anything like that, but I think getting a tattoo is it's sort of
You're getting a tattoo of a YouTube
person's name of
influencer,
a
of
a
an
man that
influencer on your.
you've slept with. It's not just
Are you
like
fucking? Are you
um,
kidding? Oh, good lord.
no, I'm just saying,
Oh,
like, I think that women can be that impulsive. I'll put it that way. But here's the thing that I'm trying to drive at. I'm not, because I don't know what's in. I would never do that. Like, I wouldn't put Lindsay's name on me, and I'm gonna grow old and die with her, but I'm not gonna get a tattoo of her name. I don't need to be reminded like that I'm with her. So, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is you have women making the choice to get a man's name tattooed on them. And Theroux is presenting this in his documentary as something that's already supposed to make the audience go, "Oh my God, for this man? How could you? How could you let a man like that get you to do that to yourself?" That's what the audience is supposed to feel. That's why that was left in. You have to understand that when you watch a documentary that involved a number of interviews, everything that you see is there very carefully placed there to get you closer to a certain goal. Okay. And generally that's not the truth. But Bryony, because she compiles lies on top, she says her claim is that this is his way of branding the women. So she says they're branded now. So she's almost claiming that he is going around with a brand of his name and putting it on women and making them his property, even though that doesn't come up in the documentary at all. So you see how this escalates, how it goes from woman decides to get a tattoo of a man's name on her, which, yeah, you can have whatever opinion on that you want to, but that would be a judgment on the woman's behavior. But we don't talk about that at all. Theroux just pretends like women don't make decisions, immediately cuts to, oh, Justin must have like gotten them to do it somehow. Like, or these women don't know. They must have thought he was going to stay with them forever, and that if they got a tattoo that he would stick around or something. That's what Theroux suggests with his clip. And then Bryony says, no, he branded them. So you see how it escalates? This is what I'm talking about. The way that these people, they take something that's already a lie and they make it worse. So anyway.
yeah, of course I see that. And of course she's saying that because she consistently removes women's own choices. Like, what happens if men are totally disconnected from women and women still make choices that feminists don't like?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have control over those women, Bryony. Unless you're going to argue that they were dick mesmerized or something.
Well, I mean, again, if she,
yeah,
in his thrall, if she can't, I think that's a last resort for Bryony Claire, because what she'd like to do is say these men are just forceful and violent and rapey, and they just made these women do this. But if there's no evidence of that, then she'll lean on the thrall thing. But the thrall thing is a little bit of a weaker argument, because then what it means is, oh, so women were attracted to this guy and they just did this. Like some people might actually conclude something rational. So anyway.
His wife did it by choice. They've done it by choice. They just did it because they wanted to.
Probably because they saw it on my wife.
Just like the other guys, he didn't want Louis to be talking to his wife after.
That doesn't actually discredit what he said, Bryony. Like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
She's saying, oh, because they chose to do it, and she shows a clip. Oh, they saw it on my wife. Yes, that doesn't change the fact that they chose to do it, Bryony.
But remember, though, the way that she says they chose to do it, and then she rolls her eyes, she's suggesting that women don't do that on their own accord. Like, women don't make choices. When the choices are poor, then women didn't make them. They only make choices when those are good in the eyes of Bryony Claire. When she decides that was a good decision, then it's, oh, you did that. But if it's a bad decision, your man made you do that. There's no way you did that. You know,
I freaking hate that.
it's true though.
Hate that attitude.
That's what
I
it
know,
is.
you're absolutely right. My choices are only my own choices as long as Bryony Claire approves of them. Repulsive, annoying. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
Want her to be on camera. But we did eventually get to see his wife, and it turns out that she was an accomplished woman. She was an X-ray technician, which requires in the US a minimum of 2 years of higher education. Here in Aotearoa, it's 3 years. But he did the noble thing of cutting her wings, and she loves the gilded cage that she's in.
I feel so good in my femininity because of how masculine Justin is.
She was cheated on in previous relationships, she was treated terribly, and so her expectations for what she deserves are basically in the gutter.
And so my biggest...
So, see, Bryony is now, she's saying, this woman, she clearly can't make good decisions because she chose to be a stay-at-home mom. And here's me saying, oh, because she was lied to and abused and by other men and cheated on. So, you know, she's only in this position because of men, basically. So Bryony is also essentially stripping this woman of making personal choices. That couldn't have happened because it was rational. That must have been man's fault.
Okay, so my problem is also, so we're going to focus on her being a homemaker as the worst aspect of this, are we?
Yep.
Or the aspect that we should.
This is the bad ending. Bad ending in a video game. This is
okay. That's the problem that Bryony has with this. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The wife, the mama, she got the bad ending. She should have should have grinded some more. You know, like got the best gear. Then she would have gotten the good ending, which is being single with kids or something. Like not being with a man. That's for sure.
Well, she could easily still be single with kids. She always has that option, Bryony.
Yeah.
But my question is also, she says this woman doesn't know how to choose a man, and yet the big problem that this woman is having is that her man is being chosen by multiple women. So okay.
Yep.
All right. So
also I like, you see though, again, notice that she says she's living in a gilded cage. This is another feminist trope thing, right? Where, you know, a man, like to have, I think Justin Waller's worth like tens of millions of dollars. He's a multi-millionaire. And he basically, I assume his wife is, or his girl or whatever, is well taken care of. She doesn't appear to be in trouble. They have 2 daughters. They live in multiple homes. She's got a pool. She's got like all this stuff. And Bryony's looking at it going, ugh, what a prison. What a gulag that you live in. Like, it bothers me because it's like, you know, he's probably, say what you want about the guy, but he probably does work hard to make that happen. And that's why she says, well, he basically works hard all day and I stay home and take care of the kids. So she's actually standing by him. You know, again, whatever you think about that arrangement is one thing, but like, you can't just like take the piss out of what she has. Look at that fucking oven.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But well, I mean, let's put it this way. You can't take a piss out of this aspect of their relationship, right? The fact that she feels satisfied with him. She feels like he's a good provider. She feels like he has enough female attention for her to continue to be attracted to him. Like, how do you take how do you? She's got it, Bryony. She's got what she wants, apparently.
Wouldn't Manifestel support this?
Yeah. That's a lot of bag that this woman's got.
He's definitely got the bag. All right. Anyway.
Honestly, I can take the truth.
Don't ask, don't tell kind of thing?
Kind of.
You don't need to know.
I don't need to know.
You don't want the gory details.
What do I need to... And it's not even gory.
But it turns out that they're not even married.
I guess
Are you married, by the way?
Yeah.
Not, I didn't bring the state into it.
Why did you not get married in the eyes of the state? You think
the state is in it. The state
What?
is already in it, sir.
I mean,
This-
Justin
well, he
says
said-
he didn't get married in the eyes of the state. They may have just gotten like agreed to stay together, or maybe they got married like religiously but not legally. And I don't blame him because of divorce laws. I think it's probably a good idea, maybe. But
Mhm.
she's fine with it. I mean, anyway. Apparently after the filming, she bailed on her relationship. Isn't that the other girl you're thinking of, Richard? That was
Yeah,
the
that's
one with
not a
Myron.
relationship. That was just 2 years. Come on.
Yeah.
You mean they bailed on any future?
I don't know. I
yeah,
didn't
no,
look into Justin Waller's situation, how it developed.
No, I don't think Justin Waller was the one. I think it was
It was Myron,
Fresh-
yeah, but I have receipts for the Myron thing. That's a whole other that's actually really fucked up what Theroux did there. And I'm guessing that everyone in his interviews got similar treatment in terms of the editing and selective let's say what they choose to show and not to show. Okay. Anyway, Allison, are you still there?
Yes, I just have my mute thing on just in case there's any like noise cross contamination.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough. You were quiet. Okay. So let's see. The financial side. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
That seems more risky for you, maybe.
This leaves her vulnerable to him just up and leaving, and I looked this up because here in Aotearoa, if you've lived together for 2 years, then you are in a common law marriage. Therefore, you've got a whole bunch of protections. In the US, common law marriage is not actually common. It's
Common law marriage in the USA is a legally recognized union between partners who live together, intend to be married, and hold themselves out as spouses without a formal ceremony or license. Only a few states still recognize this, and once established, a legal divorce is required to end the relationship. Interesting. They don't say which states. Okay.
very rare.
No, wait. Only a few states still recognize this? That doesn't
That's what her
really-
source says.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Let me just take a look at what's going on here. Continue. I'm gonna just
All right, I'm gonna continue while you look it up. I
analyze
don't
this.
trust Byron E. Claire as far as I could throw her, which is based on what I'm looking at, not very far.
Good at regurgitating the messages which he has fed her.
It does seem more risky for me, but I don't feel like I'm at risk.
She feels safe with him. She doesn't feel at risk. Well, of course you don't feel at risk right now because you're attractive, you're carrying his baby, you're still carrying on his legacy, and things are working fine. You're not fighting back. He's able to like cheat on you behind your back or like bring women home or do whatever the hell he wants to do.
That's interesting. See the framing again? He says cheat on you behind your back, but if she knows that he could bring a woman home, which she says she knows, and she's bisexual, then he's not doing anything behind her back. Like there's nothing that suggests he's being. In fact, Louis Theroux brings it up to her. He's like, "Well, what do you think about him bringing women home?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's fine." I mean, like I said, it's not my cup of tea, but she's not being deceived. That's the one thing you can say with some certainty. Can't she cheat on him behind his back? Yeah, she could. Sure. What?
Yeah, of course she could cheat on him behind his back. I guess Byrony thinks that women have no ability, like they literally do not exist as people with volition. When Byron E. Claire refuses to acknowledge that, are these people? Is Justin Waller in Texas?
I think that like he has a place in Miami, Florida, and he has a place in Louisiana, I believe. So
Okay,
I don't know about
jurisdictions
Texas.
Are commonly listed as fully recognizing common law marriage: Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, Rhode Island, Texas, Utah, and the District of Columbia.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
States with
again,
older or limited recognition. So this is interesting. So common law was recognized in the past and now it's not. Okay, interesting.
yeah.
All right, keep going.
Well, I was gonna say too, another thing that Bryony's doing, this is obvious anyways, is that she says, well, he can just up and leave. And it's funny because it presumes that a man who is a father to children would just be able to completely disconnect and go away. And it reminds me of, yeah, of course, she just assumes he could just do that. Look, I don't know the guy, but I know that fathers are particularly protective of their children. And if you act like that's completely optional, it's kind of ridiculous. I think that in general, especially if they've committed some time to it, right? I'm not saying that there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad, but I don't think it's as common as people want you to believe it is.
No.
I think in many cases, men are excluded from being involved with their children. And there was something that happened. I saw on X. I don't have the video, but I can probably look for it if you guys want to see it. Where they were asking men, it was sort of like a dating show thing, I think. They were asking the male participants questions about to like sort of judge their character. And one of the questions was, if there was a fire at your house, I think it was a fire, and your wife and children were in the fire, but you could only rescue one of them. So it was basically the trolley cart dilemma. Which one would you rescue? And the men all said their children, and the women were pissed. But the men were like, I would save the children. And like, because they're like, I have to choose one. I'm going to pick the one that's the most vulnerable. I'm going to save the kids. I'm going to save my kids first, right? And of course, I think they were trying to paint it as a terrible thing, but I was like, no, that makes sense. Like, can't the woman save herself? Shouldn't she also be trying to save some kids? But the women were upset. Of course, none of the people involved in this conversation actually had children. They were like, young adults looking to date and stuff. But it sort of like showed you, like, it was like a peek into, I guess, the way that men see the world in terms of the vulnerable and those in need of their sacrifice.
Well, did they ask the women?
No. This was it was just a little clip, and it was directed only at the men.
Why
it was a
wouldn't they
question
ask the
for
women?
the men, because it was just, that was what,
Ladies,
I don't know, that was the setup.
Would you save the men as opposed to kids? Probably wouldn't save anything, right?
I have no
Go find
idea.
yourself a bear.
Yeah.
No, but this is like okay. All right. That's it. I'm gonna spur. All right. So this is entirely predicted with like vasopressin, which is again the male bonding hormone. Like this idea that men just walk away from what they bond to is wrong. It's actually incredibly difficult for men on even a hormonal level to do it, like an endocrine level, because vasopressin is going to punish them with agony if they do so. Like that's where all the mate guarding and the like the desire for proximity comes from. It's that you're gonna be punished if you don't do it. So it's absurd to say that men are going to walk away from their children or their bound targets. Like, I mean, the problem here is that the way that they're pursuing their lifestyle is probably going to weaken their bond. I don't know, maybe not. There's a few possibilities here that just based on what I have read in terms of how these two individuals have arranged their relationship. And again, this relationship wouldn't exist traditionally. So I don't know what the hell Byron E. Claire is thinking about here. This is not a traditional relationship. This man wouldn't be accepted in polite society if he was in any other time period aside from that time period directly preceding feminists' sexual revolution. So he exists in a feminist society. He only exists in a feminist society. So you're looking at something that only exists in a feminist society that is entirely constructed by the destruction of the feminist destruction of the family, the feminist destruction of the sexual marketplace value of the average man. This guy doesn't exist outside of that. Outside of this particular greenhouse, he would not exist. That feminist constructed, he would not exist. All right, but there's certain things that are going on in his relationship that would concern me that have nothing to do with the fact that she's a housewife having kids or left her job, right? Or lives in a lovely mansion. And also she is protected. If he tries to walk away, the state will make him pay child support. Like, are you kidding? And that child support, if he's making millions, that child support could be many multiples of an X-ray technician's salary a year. So she's set. She's risking very little in all of this. Let's be honest, right? And in terms of how they've set up their bonds, there are some serious potential risks that have nothing to do with the feminist conversation, but they are definitely there. For example, for her, if she actually genuinely has an attachment to him, not just his ability to pull other women, right? She might find that he ends up with a woman who says, "No, you have to choose. I'm not sharing you with anyone." And she will find that that woman is something that she will have difficulty competing with, because this is something that nobody talks about. It's seen in polygynous societies. I've seen it among swinging, like the testimony. I'm not in that environment. I just have read some testimony. Is that the woman who fights for the man is the one he feels most bonded to. So her own, like, do whatever you want, play the field, maybe undermining his sense that she actually wants him in that way. This is why the Christians do what they do,
Mm-hmm.
It's because there are these pitfalls that you end up in when you engage in this kind of free love situation, or like poly, or what is it, one-sided monogamy, whatever this is. Like she should really be careful, because if in the course of his his explorations and his travels, he finds a woman who says, "No, I'm not sharing," she might end up the door, because he's constructed in such a way that he's going to respond to that. And you see this over and over again, like with polygynous societies, with a man who is in a relationship with multiple women and is in a society that manages the fallout of that, because it's not easy. These relationships are incredibly difficult, and they have all kinds of social support for them and expectations. Like in Islam, you have to have 4 houses that are equal between your wives. They have to get the same amount of money. You have to spend the same amount of time with them, right? You don't get to just free ball. And there's other kinds of restrictions in other societies, just to try to prevent the jealousy, which is the big continuous problem. But the other problem with the jealousy, which they don't talk about, is the jealous wife is going to be the one the husband thinks actually gives a crap about him. And the reason why is because to her, he is a man, that her man, not a function. So to every other wife, he fulfills a function. To her, he is actually her man. And he's going to feel the biggest bond to that woman. And it's something I've seen again in the swinger context. So an example I'm thinking of is Updike, John Updike. Have you heard of him?
No.
It's like they used to have, like, in the 60s, all the writing scene would have like swingers. And he had a wife. I don't remember where they were, in like a really famous liberal kind of community where everybody was doing it. They were like swapping partners, right? And he had a wife who was completely okay with it. He's like, "You can have whoever you want." No. And then he ended up with a woman who said, "No, it's me or her. I'm not sharing you." Guess who he ended up choosing? He chose the woman who told him he had to stop and wouldn't share him. And she was actually sort of psychotically controlling. She wouldn't even share him with his kids, which was crazy. But this is something that nobody talks about. And that's one of the pitfalls of this guy's relationship. And it's a pitfall of all of the weird kind of arrangements that people try to get into to heal the wounds that they had as children in the worst way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which again is something that, Bryony is incapable of doing, because she has no sympathy for this guy. So like all the stuff in the and look, there was a Theroux, to his credit, did put that Justin Waller had some abuse in his history. He didn't like dig anything at all because he's a piece of shit, but he did touch on it, and Bryony's not going to touch on it at all. This is like the flip side of the, you know, the piling on of lies to like drive home a message is the removal of truths to like, you know, to further cement the message. So she doesn't bring up that this Justin Waller was abused by his mother. Doesn't come up at all. All right. So anyway.
No. Okay, no, I'm
life combined with all of the perks of a married life. Of course he's fine with things for now, whilst you're still hot.
I have it all, truly.
You don't even understand men, Byrony. Why the fuck are you married to one if you hate them so much?
She actually mentions her husband in this. I think.
Does she? What does she say
Yeah.
about him?
Let's keep going.
Him though, if the relationship ended, it doesn't concern him at all.
Let's say that tomorrow, me and you.
Oh.
I would still look at it as successful. Have beautiful children, beautiful memories.
Notice who he completely misses out in all of this? Woman that he loves. It's all about him and how
he's addressing her, you dipshit! Like, he's saying that directly to her. How would you freaking... She is included by his... Who the hell consumes this crap? How does she get so up?
About 200,000 women.
I don't even know what to say. He said it to her, Byrony. If he said, I have a beautiful wife, it wouldn't make... He would actually be excluding her. He was saying it directly to her, Byrony. You didn't notice that? No concern for his kids or her well-being. Because he was asked if it ended tomorrow, what he would feel. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Wonderful years. He is always there monitoring, watching any time that Louis is trying to talk to her. She's not allowed to say anything without his approval.
We have lanes. My lane is changing diapers, cooking and cleaning, and his lane is working and providing. We don't cross into each other's lane.
That's one hell of a...
For a date night, we were like, oh my
God. That's like a bicycle lane versus like a 6-lane highway there.
Yeah, I mean...
My lane is kids or just taking care of kids.
How many women are just like would be just fine with that arrangement? I think it's a lot. I think there's a reason. This is but this is like, again, this is the feminist conundrum. Like, Bryony has to confront. This is something that we've said for a long time. Whenever they talk about problems with, like, you know, with men, whatever it is, and for example, when they talk about toxic masculinity, that men need to, you know, be able to show their emotions and cry and, like, you know, basically be more like women is what they're saying, because masculinity is the problem. But they never say, well, do women want that? And so when women, like regular women, are just honest about their desires, and they just say, like this woman that she's talking about, where she's like, yeah, we stay in our lane. I raise the kids. I stay at home. I cook and I clean. And he basically does the work and pays for everything. And I'm fine with that. That's her saying, this is what I want as a woman. And Brian is like, you're not supposed to want that. And that's why she's bothered. It's just like, why aren't men crying more and being more like women? And men are like, well, because if we do, women won't be attracted to us. And she's like, no, that's not true. But it is true. Because women do, like, by and large, love it or hate it, they don't want to see weakness in men because it makes them feel unsafe. And I know that it's not a good thing. I think that, you know, women should use like a lesson in understanding that men are human beings and they feel pain, and sometimes they have to express that. But this is the situation that feminism has created. This is what we live in now. So,
well, I mean, it's like, okay, let me put it this way. This woman has an extra waking day of time compared to anybody else in anywhere. She has more time in the day compared to working women, compared to women who work and also are wives and mothers and have to take care of. She has more time in the day compared to working men, husbands or single. She has an extra day of time, Byrony, in the week, basically. Everybody else gets 6 days, she gets 7. Or everyone else gets 7 days, she gets 8. An extra day of her life that she can do with whatever way. And she probably actually gets an extra day and a half because unlike other stay-at-home moms, you said that she does cooking and cleaning. I highly doubt it. She probably doesn't do cooking and cleaning. At the very least, she doesn't do cleaning. And if she's not somebody who enjoys cooking, she probably doesn't do cooking either because they can afford someone to make their meals for them. They can afford someone to do cleaning. Hell, they can probably afford childcare. So she probably is not even doing the same amount of work as the average stay-at-home mother who herself gets an extra day compared to every other person on the planet. And we're supposed to think of stay-at-home mothers as being so oppressed. Look at them with their 8th day that nobody else gets. She probably has an 8th, a 9th, and a 10th day that nobody else gets. This woman. And Byrony is trying to make us look at her and pity her. Why are you doing that, Byrony? Why? I don't pity her. I envy her 3 extra days a week. What I could do with that. Yeah, like, seriously.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think she's about to bring up her husband.
Goodness, all of these women are being abused. He also said that these men very clearly have daddy issues and need to go get...
Oh, yeah, there it is.
For a date.
So she's like saying that
Daddy
she watched it
issues,
with
not
her
mommy
husband. Yeah, her dad. Yeah, let's keep going.
We were like, oh my goodness, all of these women are being abused. He also said that these men very clearly have daddy issues and need to go get some therapy.
Oh, but Byron, why are you appealing to
the world?
Why are you appealing to your husband as an authority?
Yeah,
Isn't
right.
Yeah, like she's right here. She's appealing to her husband as an authody on this issue.
I think she
All of
thinks
these
that
women.
it will convince women. Oh, even the men recognize the problem. Even my husband said these guys clearly have daddy issues. No, they probably have mommy issues, if anything. You don't want to see
Yeah.
that though. Like, what is it? H.S. Tiki-Taki's father was excluded from his life, and his mother likely turned his father against him. But I know that his father was like a professional rugby player or something. Justin Waller talked about how his mom set their house on fire twice and would beat his father, and that his father wasn't in the picture. And she's just going to be like, oh yeah, they must have daddy issues. Like, this is what I mean when I say she's piling lies on top of lies. Theroux glosses over it and says, well, these boys clearly had problems from youth, and that's what they're dealing with. They have trauma. He doesn't go into specifics, but anyone who's paying attention that has like 2 brain cells to rub together can be like, oh, it's because the mom was piece of shit. It's because the mom was didn't want the father involved or was actually abusive to the family. And yes, guys, these women exist. They do exist. I know it's crazy, but there is such a thing as an abusive mother. That's a real thing. And we covered it on the show. Like, did you see, Allison, did you see the news? There were 2 things. One was the Bachelorette, this Bachelorette contestant that ended up getting the show canceled because a video leaked of her like abusing her ex-husband. She was going to be on the Bachelorette as a woman that men were all going to compete to get. And she was throwing chairs at a guy and like, I think hit her baby in this video that leaked. You couldn't really see it, but you heard a baby crying after like the sound of something hitting something. And then there was this actor, Jerry O'Connell, was on Bill Maher, and he was telling the story of how his wife and his 2 daughters beat him because the 2024 election didn't go the way they wanted it to. And he was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this right now because I might lose my family. He didn't even want to talk about it. Like, this is what I'm saying. They were obviously the abusing party, But the man was like, I don't know if I should talk about this because I could get in trouble. It's like, dude,
course.
you are in trouble. Like, you know, so, but Bryony's just going to act like they have daddy issues. Like, the pattern is just not
why
there.
do they
You can't
have
see it.
daddy issues?
Yeah.
Why do they have daddy issues, Bryony? Theroux mentioned that because they don't have fathers. Why don't they have fathers? Most likely because the one person who has the greatest amount of control over the relationship between a man and his children decided that she didn't want that relationship to occur. And who is that? The mother of the children. So honestly, all daddy issues are really mommy issues, Bryony.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part.
Plus, I
Okay,
think her husband probably only said that, like Bryony's husband, probably only said those things because he's also afraid of her. And I wouldn't be surprised because I'd be terrified. I would be asking myself, why did I marry this person? To be honest. But anyway, Digital Artist says she definitely hit the baby. Yeah, that's what it looks like, but we don't know for sure, do we?
Which,
Oh.
yeah, heavily agree with. When he interviews Myron from Fresh and Fit, one of the most popular podcasts in the world, which is doing so much damage.
I don't think women should vote. Also, I don't think women should be in the military or in law enforcement. I'm the dictator. You are the subordinate.
Louis was trying to interview his girlfriend, Angie, who'd been with him for 2 years.
I do what the fuck I want to do. She's loyal to me. It's monogamous on her end, open on my end. She packs my fucking condoms when I travel. That's how real it is.
And he's also in a one-sided monogamous relationship. She's
monogamous.
It's pronounced monogamous, not monogamous. You wanted to say magnanimous. Well, I don't know if we're going to get into all of it, but maybe I'll just show you guys that Myron made a video called Exposing Lies of the Netflix documentary Inside the Manosphere. And it's about 53 minutes where he shows you every clip because he recorded all the visits. I think it was like, there were 3 visits and he recorded the second and third one, but he recorded part of the first one as well. And he basically shows that his girlfriend, Angela, I think her name was not at all in the way that they framed it in the documentary. So, I mean, but Bryony Claire doesn't care about that, even though Bryony's video, let me see, when did this come out? This came out 7 days ago. And Myron Gaines' video came out yesterday. So it's pretty new. I don't expect that Bryony's going to watch his video and make a retraction because she's already done what she set out to do. But I just want to point out that Myron recorded everything and his context changes that whole segment like completely.
Yep.
So
I don't even know if we need to go through Bryony's statements about this particular segment, considering.
No. Yeah, it's all bullshit. Let me see. I think that's all I had for the Bryony Claire video because it's not just about the Manosphere stuff. So, it's, she's bringing in other things. I don't know if Richard wanted us to go through the whole thing, but
you know what? I think we're good. Do you have another video you want?
I do have another video. I want to show you guys another.
Don't find the Fresh and Fit part that there's nothing there. In fact, there's nothing in any of this. Like, if these women are okay with this shit, then whatever. Right? It's their life.
But they're not supposed to be okay with this, Allison. That's really what this comes down to. Like, Bryony is like, how are you okay with this? Okay, so I have another video from a channel called wait, where is it? Theroux, who is also a feminist, and she made a video called Louis Theroux Expose the Manosphere's Favorite Abuse Tactic. And we're going to look at some of that. So, what is the abuse tactic? Let me show you all her setup. I don't want to play the whole video. It's like a half an hour. We don't need to do that. But this is the YouTuber in question, Theroux. Now Richard Beer is going to be giving us Theroux videos to reply to, I think. And she's going to explain what the abuse tactic is.
Jimmy Savile, his mother steps in and accuses.
Wait, let me go back a little bit more. I'm sorry.
No, we're filming.
Wait a minute. Where's the... I'm sorry. I got to find the time code. 214 is what they said. So maybe it's like right here.
He turns away from Lewis and the documentary crew entirely and starts speaking directly into his live stream camera.
This is why I say what I believe, and I don't need to edit anything, ever.
What you just watched is a technique that's been studied since 1997. It has a clinical name. And once I show it to you, you're going to...
What is it? Okay, wait. My dear.
She's going to say it. She's going to tell you. She's setting it up. That was her setting it all up.
There's no technique if it's an ongoing... Okay, fair enough.
No, she's setting it up. Okay.
Manosphere creator and every podcast bro who gets challenged.
Okay, now let me just point out, she's setting it up and she's saying, this is a technique, she's going to tell us what it is, that is only used by the enemy. This is what the enemy uses. Podcast bros, Manosphere, right? So notice she uses the term podcast bro, which could mean anything, but she's basically saying Joe Rogan types. I want to show you all how big the umbrella of the Manosphere gets with this woman. That's why I thought this video is very fascinating.
Are confronted because they all do the same thing. It's not a communication style. It's an abuse tactic. And it is very common among Manosphere creators and misogynists generally, because at their core, men in the Manosphere are fundamentally abusive men. And Louis Theroux and his crew caught it on camera from 2 angles simultaneously. Before we get started, you know what to do. Love or hate, like and share, because the algorithm does not care. Let me tell you exactly what happened in that room. The clinical term for what HS did in that clip is DARVO. Some of you may have heard of this. It stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender.
Okay, wait a second. So she's basically mischaracterizing what he did.
Okay.
What the hell? Do you even understand what this term means, lady? Okay, keep going, because we're gonna walk. I'm pretty sure we're gonna walk through this, and it's gonna be absolute nonsense.
Yeah, we're ready to learn what DARVO is. You guys ever heard of DARVO? We've talked about it on this channel a lot, but yeah, let's find out.
The concept was coined by Jennifer Freyd, a professor of psychology at the University of Oregon, in a 1997 peer-reviewed.
What?
Do we have to go through? Okay, fine. Let's keep. Do we have to go through the etymology, the history of the term?
Well, maybe she's going to distort it a little bit. Let's find out if she knows what it actually means.
Paper entitled Violations of Power, Adaptive Blindness, and Betrayal Trauma Theory, published in the Journal of Feminism and Psychology. Freyd.
So DARVO came out of feminism as a concept.
Well, of course.
Framework while studying how sexual offenders respond when they're confronted with accusations. She kept seeing how sexual offenders responded when they're held accountable, and that they all did the same thing. They all responded in the same way, and she called it DARVO.
You know where I first heard of the term was Dr. Tara, way back when.
Tara Palmatier.
Yeah,
Tara Palmatier. She's the woman who coined honey badgers, isn't she?
Yep. Yes, she is. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going.
Is held accountable for their harmful behavior, they follow this predictable sequence. First, they deny the accusation. Then they attack the person raising the issue. And then finally, they reverse the narrative entirely, presenting themselves as the victim and the accuser as the offender. That's the sequence every time. Now, the offender doesn't always deny what they did by saying, oh, no, that didn't.
Okay, but wait. That is also what someone would do if they're innocent, lady. And if they wanted to say, no, you are falsely accusing me.
Yeah?
Yeah,
it's almost like DARVO is kind of a nonsense thing to say anyway, because if I was truly innocent of something and I said, no, you're accusing me falsely of something, and now I am a victim of it. Like, what did Johnny Depp do when Amber Heard, exactly, right? Countersue, is that DARVO?
Is that DARVO, lady? Okay, I probably in her terms, yes. Okay, let's keep going.
All right.
They do it by just making their feelings about being accused bigger than the fact of what they're actually being accused of. Or
that's when it goes to evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Evidence. That's when evidence becomes critical. Did the accusation actually happen? Like, honestly, why? There's such a freaking flaw in this thinking. Literally, what she's saying is women should be able to accuse, and the only response for men is to say yes, or to submit to whatever they've been accused of.
Mm-hmm.
Are you moving forward for some reason?
I thought, because she kind of like goes into the Darvo thing for a while, I thought I would jump to
Okay.
her first. Do you want to hear more of
Okay.
this, or do you want me to jump
Sure,
ahead
let's
to
see. Let's see if she gets any further away from what I'm hearing right now.
All right.
change the subject, which is what HS did. Then they attack the person who is confronting them, their credibility, their motives, their character, and then they reverse the roles.
No, that's
they're the ones
what
being
the.
victimized.
Wait. When did HMS Tiki Talkie even say that he was a victim?
He didn't.
Okay, lady, what you're doing is you're taking HMS Tiki Talkie proving Theroux's duplicity, and you are looking at that and saying, oh my God, he proved Theroux's duplicity, but then that would make him the victim. Therefore, Tiki Talkie has Darvoed me into thinking he was the victim. No, you buffoon. You looked at the evidence and concluded that because the evidence told you that's what happened. Did you see what she just did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's like she goes into a room, I don't know, and the evidence points to something has happened. All right? She looks at the evidence that of her own, like what Tiki Talkie showed, the evidence that he demonstrated what Theroux was doing. She looks at the evidence and says, oh, Theroux is a lying scumbag. Well, that must be because Tiki Talkie Darvoed me into thinking that Theroux is a lying scumbag. Do you have any control over your brain, lady?
Yeah.
Like, is your brain just rattling in your head? Occasionally leaks out onto your pillow and you have to put it back in a syringe? Do you have any relationship to your brain? Does any of the people watching this woman have a relationship to their brains? Okay.
All right.
Suddenly the person who asked the very reasonable question, oh no, they're the aggressor. Freud didn't develop.
What was
this
the
to
reasonable
describe
question?
Internet
Why don't you admit you're guilty of rape or something? Because remember, it was a feminist. Darvo was created by a feminist psychologist that was basically involved with the criminology of like male abusers. And so when men would
Okay.
deny that they did anything, she would be like, that's Darvo, which means you just haven't admitted to the truth yet. So
Okay, let's keep going. Let's
all right.
finish this up.
personalities. She developed it to describe how predators avoid accountability. Remember that. Research over the last decade has shown just how effective this tactic can be. In a 2017 study by Harsey, Zubriggen, and Freud, researchers found that perpetrators frequently used Darvo when confronted about their harmful behavior. Women are disproportionately exposed to this abuse technique, and exposure to it
No, they're not.
has a measurable psychological effect. The more
So women are uniquely victims of Darvo for some reason.
Women are uniquely victims of everything.
Yes.
Like that's their conclusion to everything. Like, is there any situation where men are uniquely victims of something? Anything? This woman would say no. Unless it was something really obvious like prostate cancer. And even then she'd probably hesitate. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
more often someone encountered Darvo, the more likely they were to begin blaming themselves for what happened to them. During the interaction, the focus shifts away from the wrongdoing and towards the feelings of the perpetrator. A later study by Harson and Freed in 2020 examined what happens when
Let me just to where she's going to give a couple of examples of Darvoing in the Manosphere and various, let's say, related, the Manosphere, but her definition of the Manosphere, which I think is the feminist definition, if you were to ask them who counts. and it's gonna be a lot bigger than just the guys that were in that Theroux video. So first, I think she's gonna go after HS's mom in this.
Looks like.
Like, obviously, you've got a couple of criminal cases, right?
Oh, look, this is the twat shit that you start saying, bro. Honestly, this is the stuff that pisses me off.
So Louis Theroux is chatting with HS, and he does what journalists do. He raises the criminal record. You know, how do you feel about the fact that you have charges pending? Does that affect your behavior? Blah, blah, blah. HS crashed a car in Surrey in March of 2024 and then fled police for nearly a year before he was finally arrested in October 2025 after this interview with Theroux for the documentary. He was charged with failing to stop after an accident, driving while using a cell phone, and driving without insurance. Those are facts, documented, adjudicated facts. There was a warrant out for his arrest. He was on the run from the cops at the time of this interview. This is verifiable information. Now,
but not relevant to the inside the Manosphere thing. It was Theroux was trying to figure out a way to attack HS's character. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I agree with what he did, but you know, he's like 23. Like, I don't know, like, this doesn't seem like a weird thing for a young guy to get into.
I'm curious if he
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious if he spent any time in jail.
He did after. I think he was on probation or something, but yes, he did face his he did face justice. At least it was after the documentary was released, or when, you know, like somewhere between the time that it was recorded and it came out, that happened. So
he received a 1-year suspended prison sentence instead. Okay, so he received a 1-year suspended prison sentence, which means at most there was property damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a non-issue, and it is poisoning the well, especially when we're talking about the Manosphere. So what are the values of the Manosphere? What do they want to say? So what is he supposed to say to that? Yeah, I got into this altercation. I don't even
Theroux
think
was just trying to, I mean, I think that HS knew, like, I'm not saying the kid's a genius, but I think he knew what Theroux was doing. He was looking for something to tarnish his character. It was like, oh, don't you have this? It was like with the other guys. He was like, aren't you like in an open relationship? And they would bring his girlfriend and be like, do you know this guy's fucking other women? Like, that's just his technique of, how do I make this guy look bad? And HS was like, no, that's twat shit, as he said it. That's twat shit.
He mostly just got for eluding. So
yeah.
He just got sentenced for eluding the police. All right, well, apparently he has served his time according to the British justice system. And what are we supposed to make? What relevance does this have at this point? Okay, let's keep going.
Sounds like Darvo, Allison.
Just does. He doesn't calmly say, yes, that happened, here's my side of the story. Or he doesn't say, you know, I prefer not to talk about that. He doesn't engage with the question at all. What he does...
Yeah, because sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
What is the first word in Darvo, lady? It's deny. Right now, we are off script. You are now giving me evidence that you have no idea what you're talking about. Did he deny it? No, he didn't deny it. What did he do? He said, you are doing this because you want to poison the well. You don't want to talk about issues. You don't want to talk about what I do. You just want to paint me in a certain way. Is he wrong?
No.
Okay, let's keep going. But right here, the first word is deny. And what is the first thing he does? He doesn't do denying.
Emotionally, the temperature in the room shifts. Suddenly, the conversation is no longer
why.
What Harrison?
What did you have a thermometer in the room? The temperature of the room shifts.
It's the feminist logic. It's her telepathy. She's reading the minds of these people.
It's about how Harrison Sullivan feels about being asked.
No, it's not about that. It's about what Theroux is doing by bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
It is a traffic violation. Yeah, sure, he shouldn't have eluded the police, but he got a year of probation, which means the UK government doesn't give him as much of a fuck about this. So what relevance does it have to any of this, aside from throwing it out there to poison the well? He's saying, this is why you're saying, bringing this up. Has nothing to do with Darvo. She doesn't understand the term. And let me guess, this is like a couple 100,000 women who are also bobble-headed along to this. Oh, yes, that's what Darvo is. That's what Darvo is. It's when a man
79,000. It's gotten 200,000 views. So
yeah, I figured as much. It's when a man contradicts me or a man says, this is why you're saying that. No, Darvo is specific. And we've already missed deny. Let's see, does he actually do anything in the Darvo list?
I'm going to jump ahead to his mom. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Ideology. The attack undermines itself, but only if you know the story. Only if you know all of the history.
God,
now we have the anti-Semitic pivot. Here comes the
God, yeah, women can't think.
What?
Like, what a bunch of fucking bullshit. There are specific things that have to happen for it to be Darvo. You already showed that it isn't. Deny didn't happen. And according to Jonathan, or Sir Brian, neither did any other. The A didn't happen. The R didn't happen. The V didn't happen. The O didn't happen. What part of Darvo was in that? And now you're saying, oh, well, if you see the history of Darvo, what? The history of Darvo does not relate to the fact that it didn't apply to what he did. And you only can see this if you're educated. Educate yourself. Like,
yep.
This is where it gets interesting. Sullivan's mother, Elaine, enters the conversation, and she says something that sounds on the surface like a reasonable critique. You're just here to make money off of my son.
If you don't agree with what Harrison's doing, then why are you making money off of it on a programme by publicising it? You're doing it because you think he's a controversial character, so you're making money off the back of it, and that's all your programs are.
Now, I want to be honest with you. The ethics of documentary filmmaking, that's a real conversation. Filmmakers do profit from their subject.
Oh, you want to?
Okay.
Oh, I want to see how she recovers from this. Okay.
Yeah. This is a thing that we should be talking about because it's about capitalism.
Intellectual.
Okay, but can I just put something out here? I just want to put something out here. A specific thing that his mother said is that he is calling Tiki Taki out for using controversy to get attention and clout and money, which is exactly what Theroux is doing.
Yes.
And now she has to contend with the bare truth of that. Right? And that is not Darvo. That is a claim of hypocrisy. So once again, this has nothing the fuck to do with Darvo. And of course, she's up against another woman. So how is she going to spin the threat narrative around that? That actually intrigues me. I wonder what her tactics will be here, because it's more difficult. You know, with HMS Tiki Taki, all she has to do is just spread the smear of rape culture on him, and then he's done for. But what about his mother? What's she gonna do? What's she gonna do to undermine what his mother said? Let's hear.
All right.
Questioning that power dynamic. I'm not going to dismiss that wholesale, but here's where you have to think critically. The premise of Elaine's accusation requires you to believe that Louis Theroux and Harrison Sullivan are on equal footing, that they're both making money off of each other in a symmetrical way.
No. They are not both making money off of each other in a symmetrical way. Theroux has an entire institution behind him. Tiki Taki just has his freaking live stream.
Theroux's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Tiki Taki's on Kick.
It's not. And the other thing is, it doesn't matter, because the
it doesn't matter.
accusation is that the controversy, somebody is profiting off of a controversy, which is exactly what Theroux is doing. So now you are moving this into another frame because you feel like you're going to win in that frame. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that that's not going to happen for you. Of course, it's going to happen for the idiots who watch you. But let's see. Let's see. Now that she's moved this into another frame of asymmetry, let's see what she has to say.
All right.
Not. It's like comparing apples and cruise missiles. Louis Theroux is a salaried documentary filmmaker working for the BBC and Netflix. I mean, let's be real. Unless you're Michael Moore or maybe Ken Burns, there's not a lot of money in being a documentarian. There's not a lot of money in truth.
What?
Okay, what?
Wait, Theroux, who works for Netflix and the BBC, is actually in the oppressed position.
Salary.
Like
Why would
he's not salaried. I mean, maybe, I don't know how it works, but what's the salary though? Like, just because you call it a salary doesn't mean it's not like $1 million a week or something. Like, what's the salary? Dude, are you kidding me? That's an insane claim right there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if working for the BBC means he gets 50% of my salary. Yeah, you get taxpayer dollars for that. So anyway.
What he produces will be edited, fact-checked, reviewed, and released months later, like a long time.
Then why is there a problem? Why is there a problem with Tiki-Taki putting it up on a stream?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sullivan is simultaneously live streaming this exact confrontation to his subscribers in real time and directly monetized. He is the one making money off of Louis, not the other way around. She's framing a BBC.
Oh, for the love of God!
Exploiter while her.
It's not about the money. It's about using the controversy. Well, first of all, he is using the controversy to get money, even if it's salaried, because he's doing work for the freaking establishment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, let's go to another example.
It's not about the money. No, let her finish this. Let her.
Oh, I already went back. I'm sorry. It's like right here somewhere.
Relationships that he has with his subscribers. He is modeling for thousands, maybe millions of young men exactly how to deflect accountability, deny the facts.
Wait. Go back. Because this is, I need to go through this.
Okay.
Not owned by the Jews or Savile. That line.
Okay, keep going back. Keep going back.
Right here.
Yeah, back to what.
Even before she finishes her sentence. But the most important.
No, I need to hear the whole thing. The whole thing that the whole construction of how she is making it. So, because the thing is that we need to go back to where this started. This started with Tiki-Taki's mom. Right? If you notice now, we are moving. First of all, she completely deflects the actual original context, which was Tiki-Taki's mom calling out Theroux. Right?
Yeah.
And then she moves into
explaining why Theroux and Tiki-Taki are not the same.
No, she moves it into this asymmetry framework, and then she's trying to say that Theroux is making less money than Tiki-Taki. Now, see how we've just moved layers and layers away from the actual event? So let's hear the next layer after the.
All right.
From their subjects. There is a legitimate intellectual tradition of questioning that power dynamic. I'm not going to dismiss that wholesale, but here's where you have to think critically. The premise of Elaine's accusation requires you to believe
you are dismissing it.
And Harris and Sullivan are on.
What?
You are dismissing it. You're just dismissing. Yeah, okay, it requires you to believe. No, it doesn't require that. It requires you to believe that their motives are similar. We don't have to look at who is making more money. We're just looking at which of the two is getting paid to monetize controversy. And the answer is both of them. So she's introducing this new variable to try to explain how these two people are different. And we are far from HMS's Tiki-Taki's mom at this point. So keep going with this. Don't jump.
On equal footing, that they're both making money off of each other in a symmetrical way. They're not. It's like comparing apples and cruise missiles. Louis Theroux is a salaried documentary.
Yeah, cruise apples are something that are sold by probably, in some cases, small business owners. Cruise missiles are made by the establishment, like Theroux's documentary. Okay, keep going.
For the BBC and Netflix. I mean, let's be real. Unless you're Michael Moore or maybe Ken Burns, there's not a lot of money in being a documentarian.
Okay, here we go. Louis Theroux. You didn't even look this up, did you? Louis Theroux's exact salary is not publicly confirmed, but recent reporting puts his company's earning at about 2.9 million for the year, pounds.
Yeah.
Well, other summaries estimate his annual income around 0.4 million. Well, if his annual income is estimated at 0.4 million, then he had a really banner year this year, I guess. And his net worth around 3 million to 6 million. That's pounds. Okay, so that's his company earnings.
Mm-hmm.
He's making he's banking off of his shit slinging. All right, or at least his company is. We don't know what kind of salary he draws from his company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Truth. Trust me. What he produces will be edited, fact-checked, reviewed, and released months later. Like a long
It doesn't need to be fact-checked. It doesn't need to be fact-checked.
It won't be fact-checked. You kidding me?
And it
They
won't
already
be
released it. It's already full of lies. It's not going to be fact-checked. It was edited for sure.
Well, essentially where we had his mother call it out and say Theroux is using controversy to make money, which he's doing. And that's what his company is doing. And his company made 2.9 million, at least in 1 year, according to my sources. And HMS Tiki Taki is also using controversy to make money and get clout. So that's the equivalence, right? And what she was doing was she was pointing out Theroux's self-righteousness about the whole situation. Now, what this woman has done is she's moved it into this asymmetry framing. She has pre-excluded the analysis that a documentarian has power over what he is, the subject of his documentary, which is true. There's a whole discussion about that because he is the one who controls the editing process, except in this instance. Now, the reason why HMS Tiki Taki had the opportunity to clap back was because he was streaming and he had a whole bunch of people showing what Theroux then edited to be deceitful, right? But she's not any of this. We're going to go for the asymmetry in the income, which doesn't look like it's that substantial, according to what I've found. And now we're going to the asymmetry in the truth or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were letting me.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay.
Live streaming this exact confrontation to his subscribers in real time and directly monetized. He is the one making money off of Lewis, not the other way around.
What do you think? What? Okay, so he's streaming it directly because he's showing what's actually happening in real time, unedited.
Yeah.
That's it. Maybe he's making money off of it, but the point is that he's showing it in real time, unedited. And Theroux is going to make money off of the edited version in which he takes his documentary subject and paints them in the worst light possible, which is already proven. Okay, continue.
Yep. All right.
BBC filmmaker as an exploiter while her son broadcasts the conversation live.
No, that's not. That, oh, this is Darvo.
What she's
demonstrating.
doing?
Yeah, she's demonstrating Darvo. That is not what she did, madam. You are now saying Theroux is the victim of what Theroux was doing. Theroux was the one who was using moral condemnation to claim that Tiki Taki was some kind of reprobate. His mother said, yeah, but you're doing the same thing. Therefore, your self-righteousness in this matter is misplaced. And now she's saying, oh, no, it was her. She was the one who was self-righteously pointing at Theroux and saying he was an exploiter. She never said that. She just pointed out he was doing the same thing. Do you see how this is okay, All right, you know what Darvo is, my dear. You're using it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go.
All right, so I want to jump ahead to some other examples she gives. So here's one of Andrew Tate. It's a short one. We don't have to say much, but I want you to see what she's doing. Is she grabs H.S. Tiki-Taki, who is like a new guy and was in the Manosphere documentary. Andrew Tate was not in the Manosphere documentary. There were a few clips, but he never like spoke to Theroux. So
would be an interesting documentary review and we could all just move on with our lives. But he's not an isolated case. Darvo is basically the operating system for the entire Manosphere.
And for anybody here who wants to do honest journalism, you need to ask yourselves why there is this witch hunt. Why the Matrix is so desperate to try and convince the world I'm a bad person and put me in jail when I've clearly done nothing wrong. It's been 3 solid years. They can't even find enough evidence to take me to trial.
Andrew Tate, charged with human
trafficking. What? That's not Darvo.
Saying that there's no evidence is not Darvo? Is saying that
know.
they've been trying to get a case and they can't build one, so they're clearly going after an innocent man.
You know what Darvo means in her idiom? You know what it means?
A man defending himself.
Yeah, basically. Or someone made me feel bad about the thing that I said. Darvo! she's identifying an emotion as a set of criteria because she's misapplying the criteria constantly while demonstrating that she is indeed Darvoing.
Yes.
Goddamn. I'm gonna go hit my head against the wall.
Okay.
And rape. What's his response? Deny the charges. The Matrix is after me. Attack the institutions. Journalists are corrupt. Reverse. He's being
He didn't.
His dream.
He didn't deny.
Well, he said honest journalism. If you were doing honest journalism, you would like recognize that I'm not like there's no case against me, something like that.
She doesn't know what Darvo means. How the hell do you have a discussion with a person who does not understand words?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? She's like, everybody's Darvoing. I can't believe I'm not Darvoing. Everybody else is Darvoing. You're making me a victim of your Darvoing. I'm like,
all right. So that's Andrew Tate. Now, this is not isolated. I think this is pretty much the normal, like, feminist viewpoint on the Manosphere and also what I guess Darvo means. So where do we go from here? Like, okay, Andrew Tate's kind of an extreme figure. He's very well known. The media has basically made him into a giant like icon. I mean, he was built by the media and their coverage of him. So who else could we throw into the Darvo net here?
That if you have family in a country that is at risk for people being injured from war, you would get the family out to Romania where you are there safe. Why do you need to go there, bro? Anyway, the respectable wing, and I've talked about this before, the Scott Galloways, the James Sextons, Jordan Petersons, the respectable wing. They still do.
Wait. Scott Galloway?
Yeah. Scott Galloway. Yes, Scott Galloway's in here as doing Darvo. Not kidding, but I want to get to it. So, but let's keep going. This is what I'm saying. Like, what these people think is the Manosphere. It includes people who are like not just blue-pilled, but feminist. So anyway,
Scott Galloway. So essentially,
yeah, Scott Galloway, male feminists. But he's in the Manosphere. Yes.
Well, can I make an observation here?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the Manosphere just means men.
Yes. Men talking about men.
Men talking about anything, really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, gamers. Gamergate's the Manosphere. So yeah.
Everything it's just men, guys. That's it. It's just your existence. That's the problem they have. You exist. And they took it personally. Okay.
All right.
It's quieter, but it's structurally identical.
So that's my idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated? This is a trope that people just accept. Western society is a male-dominated patriarchy. It's like, no, it's not. That's not true. This whole patriarchy thing, I think you have no idea how pernicious and dangerous it is.
Well, no, I don't.
Men
I
and
really
women
don't. Go on.
Throughout history have fundamentally cooperated to push back against the absolute catastrophe of existence, a terrible death rate, the probability of chronic starvation, early death, disease, the difficulty of raising children with all the death that was associated with that, and to look backwards in time and say, well, basically what happened was men took the upper hand and persecuted women in this tyrannical patriarchy is an absolutely dreadful misreading of history. It's a terrible thing to teach young women, and it's a horrible thing to inflict upon men.
Deny that patriarchy exists. Attack.
Okay. So if you, so you can only agree with you. That's it. Anything else is Darvo.
Yes. Darvo is men disagreeing with women. But no, because Scott Galloway is in there, and Scott Galloway would probably disagree with Jordan Peterson's reading of the damage of the concept of patriarchy, as feminists define it, at least. I think. So, but
and
now,
he
yeah.
never even mentioned feminism. He's only talking about patriarchy, which is an observation, not a group. And he's only criticizing that observation. And he is not making, well, he's saying it victimizes people. He's not saying it victimizes himself. So essentially, Darvo is anything this woman doesn't agree with and isn't feminist. I'm gonna write. Is this the final bit?
I want to show you the Scott Galloway bit, and then that's it. I just want to show you how because there's a lot of feminists reacting to the Manosphere stuff. And they're not talking about Darvo specifically, but they are doing this thing where they're taking the Manosphere documentary and using it as a tool to attack the entirety of male discourse online, whether it's the Manosphere guys like Andrew Tate or Fresh and Fit or the whatever podcast, whether it's MRA types like us, or if it's politicians like Trump and Vance, or if it's just podcast bros like Theo Von and Joe Rogan. It doesn't matter, because to them, all of this is the same problem. All of this has to be attacked, even if it composed of people who disagree with each other on things. None of that matters, because in the eyes of these people, we're all under the same umbrella. And I'm using that to drive. Even Scott Galloway isn't under that umbrella. But let's finish the Jordan Peterson part first.
Real source of men's suffering. Reverse. Men are the true victims of modern society, not women. And anyone who questions
Peterson didn't say that. He just said that it's bad for men and women, but okay.
That framing is attacking vulnerable men. You don't care that men are committing suicide. See what I'm talking about?
Okay, lady. So you don't recognize any possibility that feminism could harm men? None whatsoever, or women. Right, you basically said
it's about equality.
You basically said that there is a force in our society that is $1 billion to $1 trillion institutional force that we cannot question, and if we do, we're engaging in abuse. I don't know what to say to this. How do people like this get so much fucking attention?
They say what women want to hear. Okay.
Well, I don't know why women want to hear this.
Yeah, I think they like knowing that they're vulnerable.
Describes Scott Galloway as, quote, 3 manospheres in a liberal trench coat, like stacked on top of each other. Like, that's a really good description of him, by the way. Bravo, Chad.
So so somebody on Substack says Scott Galloway is 3 manospheres wearing a liberal trench coat. So that means that Scott Galloway, despite perhaps even having good intentions and trying to make, caring about men and his liberalism fit together, is being attacked anyway. Because apparently being pro-male is not liberal. It's just not.
They're really giving a good inverse relate. Like they're in the negative space. They're really explaining who they are. Mm-hmm. Everybody who has any concern for men, who thinks of men as being a legitimate category of being, is part of the manosphere. Even with like a ton of feminist caveats. If you even think that men should be appealed to at all, like Scott Galloway, You are part of the manosphere, and you are
I mean,
every time you open your mouth, you're abusing a woman with Darvo.
yeah, and I think Scott, look, if I'm being charitable to Scott Galloway, because I try to be charitable to people, I think that what he's basically seeing that if we don't do something about men, we're gonna lose everything. Like he recognizes that shit is getting worse, and so he's like, well, I don't want to abandon like what I believe in terms of my beliefs and policy and all this other shit, but we have to do something for men. We have to offer them something because we're gonna lose them again. Like he was the guy who was like, we're gonna lose men forever if we don't. So it's partly him being very like pragmatic, right, for the most part. But let's take a listen to him.
And he calls out this clip from his interview with Liz Plank for her podcast, Boy Problems.
2,500 women a year are murdered by men, most of them men they know. That is unacceptable. Men have a responsibility because of their physical size to always default to protection. It is a real issue, and until it's zero, it needs focus. Having said that, 40,000 men will kill themselves this year. So the guy you're on a date with is 16 times more likely to go home and hurt himself than hurt you. We lose approximately 10,000 men and 10,000 women a year to driving fatalities, meaning the drive over to the date is 4 times more dangerous. You are more likely to drown or choke and die on that date than have your potential partner hurt you. So while I understand it's an issue, if you go on TikTok, you get the sense that you are literally gambling with your life if you go on a date.
No, you aren't.
She added that where it says you are, as a woman, gambling with your life. So again, look, I know I don't like Scott Galloway because he does exactly what the male feminist thing where he opens up with the land acknowledgement. Women, they have it really tough. I acknowledge all of it. And until we get to the point where there are 0 murders of women, it'll always be an issue. Yeah, that'll never happen because we live on Earth, not heaven. But then he goes, okay, having said that, here are some problems that men have. And yeah, it's probably not as high as it needs to be. And he doesn't ask the appropriate question. He doesn't ask, well, how often do women murder men? How often do women rape men? How often do women assault men? He doesn't even ask those questions, right? But all he's doing is saying, well, men have problems as well. And he's Manosphere automatically. Okay. So, that's okay, but let's finish this.
Men are told that they are pathologized. They are told they are predators.
Same D, same A, same RVO. Clavicular on...
It's not Darvo! That was not... Sorry, did I blow everyone's earballs out? Earballs?
No, it's all right. I think I have something that prevents it from going too loud so it doesn't hurt anybody. So even if you scream, I have like a...
That is not Darvo. Literally what she's saying is men having any opinion on anything is automatically Darvo. If a woman defends a man, it's Darvo because she didn't like Tiki Taki's mother. I just don't understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just like Jonathan just said, just because she hates men.
Yeah.
It's like
she wants to justify her hatred.
He's just saying, hey, this affects men and it's not statistically reasonable. And she's saying that's Darvo. This woman, if a man said anything in his defense, she would consider it abuse of herself. What, 80,000 subscribers, this woman?
Mm-hmm.
This video, 200,000 views. How is it possible that something so psychotically abusive and dehumanizing is so beloved by whoever is watching this? This is dehumanizing. This is psychotic, what she's saying. Men have no right to have an opinion on themselves, is what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish I could project this into people's heads, how wrong this is.
All right. So I think now the last thing is, we don't even really have to do it. She mentions clavicular, but doesn't have like a clip or anything, so I'm not going to play that part. But I think this is Louis Theroux on Chris Williamson's podcast. Now, Chris Williamson also not a big fan because he's basically like on the like I don't like the Manosphere train. So he's not really helpful. But again, like the thing about these guys, like Scott Galloway and Chris Williamson, they think that they can like stay in the good graces of these women if they just attack the Manosphere or at least like dismiss them or try to like, or whatever. But it won't save you because the problem is that you were born a man. And if you say anything or you advocate for men in any capacity, even if it's like with all of the caveats of like, well, look, if you cry some more and vote Democrat and eat more soy, then I'll look out for your suicide. No, that doesn't matter. These women will be like, no, let him die alone and like, make sure that just don't leave a mess, make it fast, but you can't use guns because we're banning those. So, but anyway.
Statements that indicate to me that he clearly understands the Manosphere grift and the psychology behind it. All of this, by the way, I covered in my series Red Pill Nation inside.
They're making money. They're making money, but live streaming.
What's the grift? That we actually recognize that half the human race might have things happen to them? And that the other half of the human race might have an influence on those things? That's the grift, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
The misogyny of the Manosphere almost a year ago. I'll link you to the playlist of
this is misogyny. Did you notice this? This is misogyny. Men having opinions on their experience of things. Right? Mm-hmm. Someone pointing out that Theroux is actually engaging in farming controversy, and that's the very thing he's accusing HMS Tiki-Taki. A woman pointing that out. All of this is misogyny. They don't want men to exist. They just don't want you to exist. They want you to cease to exist. That's what I see here. There is no space. She has claimed all the space. She has claimed all of the positions on the board. They are all hers, and you may stand nowhere. You get no part. You get no part of the earth, guys. You have no place. No place to think about, and certainly no place to talk. No place to say anything about who you think you are and what you've experienced. Like this is oh God. Sometimes I don't know what to say. Like I don't understand. I am so sorry that so many women like this shit. Like I don't even know what to say. I am fucking sorry, guys.
Yeah, you don't have to be sorry. You're not one of them.
In this clip, you can clearly see that Louis Theroux understands what's going on.
Really, what singles them out and defines them as extreme manosphere is the willingness to embrace a kind of paranoid, conspiratorial mindset, to employ outrageous, I would say utterly cynical, clickbait-based content creation, and then all of it with a view to
paranoid mindset.
To reach a market. Like
paranoid mindset, patriarchy, using controversy to get money. 2.9 million his company made, right, in a year. Mm-hmm. What do you think he's making it off of? Right, and in particular in this documentary, it's exactly like HMS Tiki-Taki's mom said. He's making money off of controversy. And he's also making money off of taking a very marginalized opinion, which has its own problems, which we have gone through at length, me and Brian. He is making money off of a marginalized community that isn't allowed to have an existence in the mainstream. And when I will believe that men are allowed a voice, when they have a party, when they have $1 trillion industry advocating for their issues, right? That's when I'll believe they have a voice. Specifically their needs, not what they're expected to do. Okay, so he is saying that they're engaged in a grift. He might be right. Maybe they are engaged in a grift. Guess who else is engaged in a grift? And that was her point.
Yeah, and like, why does their grift exist? How is it possible? Even if we accept that the manosphere, as he defines it, is grifting, why does the market exist, Theroux? You're saying there's a market that they're taking advantage of. Where did the market come from? Was it always there? Where did it come from?
Yeah, why is the marketplace?
There's massive educational value in being beaten up by your dad. Is kind of extraordinary, and probably some kind of a compensation by him.
You got this line in the doc. You say
compensation for what?
Huh?
Okay, what the hell would you turn that into compensation? He's basically saying Andrew Tate is an abused boy.
Yeah.
Okay, and now he's saying, oh, that's compensation. Andrew Tate is an abused boy. So you're saying that this abused boy is constructed this empire as compensation for being abused? Well, that actually sort of describes most like technocrats. It probably also describes you, Theroux, honestly. Like everybody's acting out some pain from their childhood.
He was
So
friends
what?
with Jimmy Savile.
Many people are acting out the pain that they got from Jimmy Savile. This guy's good friend. You know, like I don't understand where he's going with it. Oh, this is an abused child. He's acting out his pain. That makes him horrible, and we should throw stones at him. What is the point of saying that? Like, how does that discredit Andrew Tate?
Mm-hmm.
Abused child makes himself into a multimillionaire. Wow, that really discredits him. Why would that discredit him? Like, I mean, I could almost be like, okay, Theroux says, well, he's an alleged sex trafficker. That discredits him, right? That at least is in the realm of reasonable. You see what I'm saying, Brian? That's
Sure.
reasonable and supportable, and maybe something you could justify someone saying. Oh, Andrew Tate's an alleged sex trafficker. That discredits him. No, Theroux goes with Andrew Tate was an abused boy. That discredits him. Really? Astounding. Don't you think? Astounding that this woman and Theroux is landing on that to discredit him. Huh. That really says a lot, doesn't it?
Interesting.
From Miss Darvo.
Or as Spock would
Okay.
say, fascinating. Well, I don't think, I mean, like, we could listen to the rest of this bit, but we can stop. Those are the, I wanted to show specifically what?
Let's stop.
Yeah, we can stop. We can stop here. It's fine. Like, that's enough. We've done enough damage to our souls. But you guys get where I'm coming from. See, so Therese she's not unique. This is the way that these people operate. They take the extremes, which usually are not as extreme as they want you to think they are, and then they link them to moderates and even people that would probably be more of an obstacle to men's issues, and they just say they're all just as bad as each other. And what does that tell you? None of them are going to be good enough, because what they want is something that's complete hegemony of their worldview, unquestioningly, and men have to either get on board or die quietly, and they don't want to hear about it. On the upside, the manosphere, or whatever you want to call it, is only getting stronger, and men just don't give a shit. And I mean, like, that number is growing, let's just say. And that's why people like Scott Galloway are panicking, because he sees men checking out and the numbers are bearing out. Clavicular, who just got a brief mention, he's exposed women of his age group as well as being shallow and untrustworthy and unscrupulous. And even he is disgusted by that. So, I mean, the truth comes out is all I'm saying.
It does.
So
It does. And I actually wanted to read something that I created. I've been looking into feminist frameworks and the actual evolved relationship between men and women. And honestly, the more I get into what romance is, the more interesting the whole thing becomes. And again, I know that a lot of people have they side eye romance as a genre, but the more I've been investigating what actually sells, not what the publishers are trying to foist on women, it's been a bit of a white pill. I keep coming back to this because for me it's a white pill. So based on like evolution, the things that women have evolved to find important: stable pair bond with a high investment male. That doesn't mean a high status male. It means a male who's highly invested. Paternal investment in offspring, family unit security, offspring survival, and the bonding event itself. The neurochemical lock that reorganizes a specific male around her and her children's needs. Now, this isn't just from humans. This is from all pair bonding mammals. They all have the same endocrine architecture, and they all have that same reorganization on like a subcortical level. Have you ever seen you've seen those videos of fathers like catching things, like fast object moving towards child videos?
Yeah, sure.
And you notice how fast they move?
Mm-hmm.
That's because it's subcortical processing. Their endocrinology has rewired so that they are constantly monitoring threats to their children and their bond target, their wives. And because they have that, it's not actually the reflexes are so fast, it's the monitoring is so constant. They're constantly monitoring the environment for threats. And this is the rearrangement of the architecture. And feminism's measurable effects on each of these: pair bond formation declining. Marriage rates have fallen consistently across every population where feminist frameworks have achieved cultural dominance. The framing of marriage as an institution of patriarchal control has made the commitment itself suspect. Pair bonding stability declining. Divorce rates rose sharply following no-fault divorce legislation, which was a feminist policy priority. The framing of male bonding behavior as controlling gives women a diagnostic framework for interpreting normal vasopressin output as abuse, which produces a continually renewable justification for leaving. So essentially, feminists are framing the natural effect of how men bond as abuse. And of course, what they'd say is, oh, you think that that's all men are capable. But it's like, they're reinterpreting something that if you actually look at the literature, women want. They want this. They want a man to act like a man when he's bonded to someone. Paternal investment declining. Custody structures that systemically separate fathers from children. Cultural messaging that frames male provision as economic control. Cultural messaging that frames male protectiveness as paternalism. All reduce the channels through which bonded males can deliver investment to offspring. The male who has been told his provision is dominance and his protectiveness is control has been told his investment is unwelcome. And again, evolutionarily, what women want: stable pair bond, high investment male, paternal investment in offspring, security, offspring survival, and the bonding event itself, which we would call love. We don't need to call it the bonding event. Fertility declining below replacement in every feminist influenced population. Women who delay pair bonding to pursue career priorities, framed as empowerment, encounter biological constraints that the framework promised were either negotiable or irrelevant. Offspring outcomes. Children in single-parent households show worse outcomes on nearly every measurable dimension: educational attainment, income, mental health, substance abuse, incarceration rates. The feminist framework that framed the two-parent unit as patriarchal and single motherhood as empowered independence produced a population-scale experiment in removing paternal investment. The results are in, and they're bad for children. So feminism's actual track record is degradation of every single thing women evolved to value. I want to repeat that. There are things that we invent about ourselves as human beings, and then there are things that are based on what we are, right? And what women are is that they have been evolved or made by God, whatever you want to say, blessed by the spaghetti monster. They have evolved to want particular things, a stable pair bond with a man, right? And this society has destroyed that. Now, women apparently are on this kick of proving to themselves and everyone that they really don't want that. But the truth is, the endocrinology does not lie. It cannot lie. So feminism's actual track record is degradation of every single thing women evolved to value. Not mixed results, not trade-offs, degradation across the board. Oh, now what happens when women are trained to label everything they value as feminist? It makes the framework unfalsifiable from inside. If a woman values pair bonding, she's told that's feminist. She's choosing it freely. If she values career over family, that's feminist too. If she values motherhood, feminist, independence, feminist. The word stops having definitional content and becomes a loyalty marker. It doesn't describe a position, it describes membership. But the actual policy and cultural machinery operating under the feminist label is specifically degrading the pair bonding, paternal investment, and family stability side. The career independence side gets institutional support, legal protections, cultural validation, economic infrastructure. The pair bonding side gets institutional hostility. Marriage framed as oppression, male investment framed as control, maternal preference for caregiving framed as false consciousness. The labeling does something precise. It prevents women from noticing that the framework is selectively destroying the things they value most while supporting the things that serve the framework's institutional interests. So the reason why I got in on this is because literally, I'm going to say this very clearly, women are spending almost $1 trillion a year to get the text-based simulacra of a pair bond. And feminists can't stand it. They're trying to destroy the industry or colonize it and try to make it into something that pushes feminist beliefs. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I had to end on something that at least gives me a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
Because that was
fair.
so fucking awful.
Yeah, I know.
This woman is awful. She is an awful human being. And she doesn't know what Darvo means. And I'm not sure if she doesn't know, or if she's just using it in a way that's most useful to herself. Either way, don't know what to say.
All right, well, and that's
Okay.
it. I mean, like I did my part. I wanted to show you all what was going on with that. So
Yes, your part is done well, Brian.
yeah.
Oh man. All right. So once again, guys, you guys were quiet. Nobody sent a super chow. feedthebadger.com/justthetip. I'll keep you guys all in the loop on what's happening with Mia. Hopefully she pulls through. Don't get your hopes up though. Void cats might return to the void from whence she came. And feedthebadger.com/support if you want to support the show. And I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, to the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame. And we will talk to you guys in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.